I have to start out this with just a great big thanks to one of the best creators out there. Lazy Pond Farms. Kevin and Rachel over there sent me a pineapple. They've been growing pineapples, and so I'm going to try it in my hydroponics. I'm just so excited, and just a great big shout out. I'll put a link to his channel. You will just adore them. And I wanted to show an update on the peekaboo cups that we did last week. The tomatoes are already coming up. I'm just so excited. It looks like 100% germination, and I'll keep you updated with those. My big thing this week was collecting flowers, the seeds from them. And here's some purple marigolds that I'm collecting right there. And you just break them apart, the seeds are inside, and it is a great way to start your seeds for free. I'm all about being self-reliant, self-sufficient, and self-sustaining. And collecting your own flower seeds and vegetable seeds is one of those ways that you can really do that. So I went around the yard and collected some of them. This is a lamb's ear, delphinias, orange or ornamental poppies that are about 5 inches across, blanket flowers, primroses, I love those pods, morning glories that we were picking out in the front yard, globe thistles, and then columbines, one of my favorite ones to do. Columbines are so easy because all you have to do is shake them. And they're one of the easiest flowers to cross pollinate, and so you get all kinds of new, different types and colors of columbines. And so those are just really special to me. And I have them all different parts of my yard. Now this is lamb's ear. And the Native Americans actually used the leaf, which was so soft, as toilet paper. And you just break them apart. Some of it you can shake out, but mostly you have to break it apart. And each of the little teeny sections you break apart, and there's all those seeds inside. And delphinias, because they're so tall, sometimes our wind will knock out most of the seeds. Now the globe thistle is really a fun one because when it's new and ready, before you collect the seeds, it's bright bluish purple. And it's very pokey. It is like a thistle. And you're just going to take that and you're going to grab some of those and pull them apart. And that's where the seed is. Now some of these have to be stratified, like a globe thistle. That means that it has to have some cold. And so after they're in the envelope, I'm actually going to put them in the refrigerator for a little while. Now the morning glories are an easy one. Those little balls just pop apart and you can collect them. Now on the left is a green pot. It's not ready. On the right is when it's ready, it turns brown. It's very easy to break apart, and those big, large seeds just pop right out. And that makes it a lot easier to collect those because they're so easy to see. Now, they're one of my favorites, and we grow them every year. Now, this is an ornamental poppy. It's an orange, and I do have some pink ones that are big like this. And they can literally be 5 inches across easily. And it's just a matter of shaking those out. And I also like to use them in decorations because they're just so interesting looking. And you can collect tons of seeds from just one pod. Now this is a blanket flower. And I like this because it's in 3 stages. It has the flower, it has it right after the flower is done, and then when it's spent where you can collect the seeds. And that's just a matter of pulling out. And it's fluff and easy to collect. And I always like to save my seeds in some kind of container that's breathable. Now these are evening primroses, beautiful large yellow flowers, but the pods are the most interesting thing about them. And you have to just pull them apart, and there's 3 to 4 sections in there. And in that, where the 2 sections meet, you'll find all those seeds. So we ended up taking 9 different flowers. The safflower is what they can make oil and you can cook with. And it's related in the corn family because you can just have that interesting grassy part in there by the seeds. And these are just all the different flowers that we collected. And I'm going to let those dry, and then I'm going to put all of them in envelopes. And because an envelope is very breathable, it's easy to save, you can write on it, you can give information, and it's just an easy way to save your seeds. So here's just some regular size envelopes. We're going to store those seeds the large envelopes, I can cut into 4 sections, unless I have a lot of seeds to save. Then I'll use an entire envelope. And I do this with a lot of my vegetable seeds also. So you see I have, out of 1 envelope, I have 4 envelopes. And I'm just using tape to put on the sides, and it makes it really easy to have something, and I didn't have to pay for anything. And I just seal that up, put it in. I got some watermelon from Utah, 26-pound watermelon I'm going to try to grow. And I just do them all the same. If I have a lot of seeds, I use a whole envelope. If I have a few seeds, I'm using a little bit. So there's all my seeds that we collected. Now we're over at the community garden, and it was time to clean out a lot of the things in the community garden. The first thing I did was get my soup beans. I have lots and lots of different soup beans, and so I was just collecting. These were some of the black soup beans. And I'll let those dry. There's some kohlrabi, we have some leeks, and we have some Swiss chard, and those things are going to stay in there for longer because they don't really care if it gets cold. But here's my garden. The 2 plots after I started to clean it out, anything that it was too cold, I just decided to pull. But the soil's been turned over. There's some of my cabbages that are going to be in there for a while still. And the collards and Swiss chard, because they don't mind when it gets, those temperatures are low. In fact, a lot of times it makes them taste better. And I was happy, satisfied with my garden. I wish we would have had some warmer nights to help with the peppers and the tomatoes turning earlier, but that's just the way it is sometimes when we're gardening. I did take the fence that separated the two, and you can still see the leeks and corn stalks and kohlrabi and some Swiss chard over here. And then one of the gardeners that's not returning had some of these somewhat raised beds. And so I'm going to do an experiment on how much I can grow in this tiny area in my garden next year. But I hope you had a great gardening season like we did. And I will see you next time.